I can remember growing up and feeling a lot of stress and anxious feelings when it came to tests, homework, being bullied, as well as even relationships and crushes. That's a lot of things to kind of have to worry about as a kid. But when it comes to, helping with being more aware of our emotions, because you can't deal with it until you've named it, so that's really important. So that's more of like a, self-awareness thing and mindset shift. But then also there's other natural solutions and essential oils that can be used to help with that process. And the doTERRA Kids line can help kids with some of that and really put the power back in their hands, and so they can really take control of their emotions. And it first starts with awareness. And so Candace is going to talk more about the kids line as well as the Triumph Over Trauma class. And this is part 6 of the class and is a continuation of all the information that she's given so far. So if you haven't watched the previous videos, make sure to check those out. And without further ado, let's get into today's video.
Nutrition as it tends to our physical body.
Okay,
Lifelong Vitality Pack.
Came up
Nutrition
with this,
as it
Yeah, I know, I'm
relates
writing it down.
to exercise. Nutrition as it relates to being fit and skinny. A lot of us associate nutrition with those kinds of things, but nutrition is the basic building block for our emotional health as well. If we do not have the basic nutrients that our body needs to survive and function at its highest and best ability, it's not going to get to the part about us needing to sleep better or the part about us balancing our emotions, right? So a lot of people overlook nutrition as a way of self-care when it comes to balancing our emotions and responding to trauma. Because I will be the first to admit that when I start going down the rabbit hole, I want pizza, I want lasagna, and you know what, it's funny, I know a lot of women are chocolate people, I want sour candies. Those are the things those are my comfort foods that I go to, and I'm not getting the nutrition that I need. I'm getting carb overload, very low vitamin content, very low protein content. So what I need is to help my body in that way. So I want to emphasize the incredible importance of, if we want to rein in our emotions, if we want to create new pathways, new response cycles, we need to give our body the basic building block that it needs for our nutrition. So that's one of the things that I wanted to address. The other thing, I have all kinds of the oils out here. And I lied, I'm actually going to address 2 more now.
What about that little white purse pouch?
Oh,
yes.
Well, we'll talk about those too. So I want to talk about, before we get to that, Clara Calm, nothing.
Whoa, yeah.
Nothing happened. That's good. Something goes in the hallway. That's so funny.
Yeah, it did. I think it's noise. It's noise and movement.
That's what could happen to any one of us if we don't have hormonal balance. We turn into that witch right over there at the door.
Oh my God.
No. He's so happy. Oh, no, not for me. That's for you. So I want to talk about Clara Calm and Whisper. So Clara Calm, I'm talking specifically now to the ladies when it comes to the emotional balance in conjunction with hormonal balance. Okay, so the Clara Calm is specifically blended to help with the cycle, to help with your menstrual cycle.
Oh, yeah.
And so, what's that?
That thing is the bomb for cramps.
For cramps.
Oh,
So many people are in love with this for cramps. Bloating. You can roll it right over the ovaries. I roll it like all over the tummy. Yes.
Oh my God, it works so fast.
Yeah, like
Oh my gosh.
for me, when I
that's right.
it's so down in 2 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really amazing, especially during the ovulation.
Yeah.
So
So, you can use this for hot flashes, you can use it for cramps, you can use it for bloating, you can use it for any number of things that have to do specifically with the cycle, right? And then on the other side of things, so that one again is a very flowery kind of a scent. I'm not a flowery kind of girl. I am a musky, spicy kind of girl. So Whisper for me, this is the blend for women. Now they specifically branded and marketed the Whisper as an aphrodisiac, right? And so this is the sexy time oil, right? But the thing about the oils that are in here,
I'm gonna bathe
Is
in that
that-
and go out in public and see if I can
Yeah.
attract someone.
you're going fishing. She's going
I'm
fishing.
going fishing, that's right.
We do use it as a sexy
right.
time oil.
Yes.
It is an
Very nice.
aphrodisiac oil as well, right? And a lot of these oils are also known specifically for hormonal balance.
But
So,
European women up there, up in Nordic, maybe it has to do with the Nordic climate, I don't know where I come from. Estonian girls, they're crazy about Whisper. But to me, it's
love
not
it.
so, it's fine.
Oh.
And they're going nuts, they're buying bottles of this oil, and one lady says, and it's just like, I don't know what is this, but they're absolutely, Nordic women are crazy about this.
I have,
Clara Calm?
no, the
this
Whisper,
Whisper.
the one that's coming around now.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Is
So,
it
Yeah.
very cold up there?
ah,
It is. So
Well, maybe it's very
heats
cold,
them
so
up.
it
Exactly.
needs to
It heats
get
them
them
up.
going.
Yep.
Yeah, so that
what
they
you're
can have
saying?
large families.
I'm saying it will work well with your body chemistry.
That's
right?
One's clear.
Yeah.
So, the Clara Calm for me is very specific to cramps, to bloating, to cycle-related things. For me, a lot of women that I know have responded to sleep really well with Whisper. So hot flashes in the night and disturbances in the sleep and those kinds of things. A lot of people respond very well to the Whisper in their diffuser, maybe instead of the Serenity. Or I actually blend. I put Serenity and Whisper and a drop of frankincense into. That's my magic potion right
Wow.
there. And that is the
That's a
potion.
lot of oils in one, actually.
Yeah,
to think
in the
about it.
diffuser, in the
Yeah.
diffuser. Serenity, Whisper,
Yeah, I
frankincense.
really like this one.
Your phone is off. Is that normal?
Yeah, Whisper's awesome.
Oh, good call.
So you like that
Yeah,
one too?
I love it.
Ah, we agree
Yeah,
on
this
one.
thing is good.
Of course.
So I wanted to talk about those. And so now I'm down to, because Malie wants me to talk about this one, I have to, as someone who works hand in hand with sexual assault survivors and someone who knows how very prevalent it is, I would, and you don't have to share, I would bet more than half of this room has experienced some sort of sexual trauma. And one of the last hurdles that a lot of sexual assault survivors have to leap is that desire for physical connection again. A lot of people have a hard time returning to going through the actual act of sex. And it is a traumatic thing for them, and it triggers them back into negative experiences, and it causes a lot of problems in relationships because their partners think, I've done something wrong, they don't want me anymore, I'm causing them pain, I'm hurting them emotionally when I want to be physically active with them. And so there is an oil specifically that addresses sexual fears and sexual trauma, and it's patchouli oil. Which is not my favorite oil, but I don't have any problem with the sexy time.
Well,
So,
that's why in the 70s they had the free love, because
that must be it. That must be it. It was the patchouli. It was the patchouli in the freezer.
to make love, not war.
Yes.
Yes, here it is.
So I feel like with the work that I've done over the last decade that I would be remiss by not mentioning that the patchouli oil is specifically, if you look it up, and we have books about emotions, it is specifically the oil of overcoming sexual fears, physical contact, sexual trauma. So I want to make sure to mention the patchouli oil. I will now do one last thing. There are all kinds of oils up here. I pulled out even more, but I want to keep you guys here all night because I could literally talk about every single oil that we have. But that's going to take too long. I do want to mention that doTERRA recently came out with, this is a children's pack of oils, okay? It comes in this super cute little pouch. And Malie's kids even put their toys in it as well. Her grandchildren are storing little toys in here. I pulled this out in the toy palette. I was like, what is going on? Oh yeah, there are kids that are actually using these oils. So these oils are actually diluted specifically for children. However, they will still work on adults as well. And they came out with a few blends that I think would be really, really amazing for these kinds of situations, these kinds of emotional situations. So you're welcome to play with all of this stuff that we have out here. I'm going to specifically just address 2 of them. One of them is Calmer. Did you use it on him?
I was just going to ask, can we use it on a soon-to-be 1-year-old or how?
Absolutely.
I've been using it on
Calm.
him the last
Good.
couple nights, and he's
Yeah,
been going down a lot
easier. Good.
So these are heavily diluted, right? So what this means is that it's going to be totally fine for you to use them on kids. And in fact, they come in these handy things. What we're out telling people is you can send this to school with your child.
Oh,
And
I
it's
tell
diluted.
what happened.
just going to tell you, my daughter went to school with the thinker and the rescue because she goes, oh, can I use the rescue in case I fall off the monkey bars again? Okay,
Aw.
she decided to share them with the school and got called from the principal, said she's never allowed to use these again at school.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was
because
like,
of
you know
this
what?
one, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, my husband exaggerated because he's the one that had to go talk to the principal. I'm like, no, you keep them. I said, you just don't share them ever again.
this one is called Calmer, right? And so it is
Calm down.
as the name would suggest, right? So for that high energy, super
That's
hyperactive
something
kind of
that
stuff,
she
or
needs the
for
calmest of calm.
the brain
Double,
to
triple
shut
doses.
down, or just to relax. Because sometimes we're really struggling with these feelings of anxiousness. So, but this is not going to have quite as potent of a scent. So if you are out in places that